Donald Trump's capitulation to Vladimir Putin and Russia even brings heat from the Wall Street Journal editorial board, a Rupert Murdoch publication normally supportive of Trump. Vladimir Zelensky has a 4% popularity rating. Untrue. It's actually around 57%, which is higher than Trump's rating. And now the Rupert Murdoch publication, the Wall Street Journal, is going after Trump for it. Ronald Reagan must be rolling over in his grave, because what we're seeing in echoing Russia's talking points is an utter capitulation to Vladimir Putin, taking Russia's side in the war against Ukraine.
Breaking news. Hell freezes over as Murdoch's Wall Street Journal roasts Trump harder than a liberal comedian. The paper, known for kissing Trump's, let's say, ring, just put him on blast for his Ukraine comments. But here's the kicker. Trump's approval rating is lower than Zelensky's, and that's saying something considering Ukraine is literally at war. Want to know how bad it really is? Keep watching, because this tea is piping hot. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Looks like Grumpy Trumpy's media daddy just put him in timeout.
Trump does care what people on the right say about him. He may not care what Midas Mighty says about him. And we should keep speaking up and speaking out, but he does care about what his base thinks about him when he stood on the stage with Vladimir Putin and took Putin's word over the word of the U.S. intelligence agencies. Unfortunately, it didn't seem like this mattered enough to voters. Here, they called him out in no uncertain terms. Entitled, "Trump Tilts Toward a Ukraine Sellout," they go into how Trump puts more pressure on Kyiv for a deal than he does on the Kremlin.
Can you imagine the look on Trump's face when he saw the Wall Street Journal's front page? I bet he choked on his hamburger and spat Diet Coke all over his gold-plated toilet. For years, Murdoch's media empire has been Trump's personal cheerleading squad. They've been waving their pom-poms and doing backflips for the orange turd since day one. But something's changed, folks. Maybe Rupert finally realized that backing Trump is like trying to put makeup on a bloated pufferfish. It ain't pretty, and it's gonna blow up in your face. The WSJ editorial board didn't just disagree with Trump this time. Oh no, they went full roast mode. Picture a bunch of stuffy editors in suits, probably still wearing their MAGA hats out of habit, furiously typing away like they're trying to win a rage-fueled typing contest. You can almost smell the burning keyboards and taste the salty tears of betrayal. Now let's talk about those juicy quotes from the WSJ article. They didn't just criticize Trump, they took him out back and gave him a verbal spanking.
Kamala Harris or Joe Biden in the last election. He said he just wouldn't vote for either one. Elections are about choices, and if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, you have essentially chosen Donald Trump. By Trump's words, and called him out on it. But remember, John Bolton, even though he has been principled when it comes to Ukraine, he also refused to support, especially if you realize that Donald Trump is remaking American foreign policy to side with the dictators, to side with the invaders, to side with our enemy.
That would make even Stormy Daniels blush. The editorial started with a zinger, basically saying, we can't tell if Trump's just running his mouth or if he's actually lost his marbles this time. Ouch! But what exactly did Donnie Diapers say about Ukraine that got their tighty-whities in such a twist? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because it's a doozy. Trump, in his infinite wisdom, decided to pull some facts out of his, let's say, hairpiece. He claimed Ukraine had a 4% popularity rating. Yeah, you heard that right. Not 40%, not 14%, minus 4%. I guess math isn't his strong suit, along with, basic human decency. Here's the kicker. The WSJ didn't just disagree with Trump. They called his Ukraine comments a sellout and shameful.
Trump fashions himself a master negotiator, but already he's giving away the story. He's already negotiating from a position of weakness with Vladimir Putin, accepting all his claims, asking nothing in return. He also wrote that Trump likes dealing with authoritarian leaders like Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping, which is dangerous for our national security because he doesn't fully understand the stakes nor the concessions he's been making. Bolton said Trump's characterization of Zelensky and Ukraine are some of the most shameful remarks ever made by a U.S. president. Our support of Ukraine has never been about charity. Our way of life at home depends on our strength abroad.
Those are fighting words, folks. They basically said Trump's putting more pressure on Ukraine to make peace than on Putin to stop being a warmongering jerk. It's like telling the kid getting bullied to just hand over his lunch money faster so the bully doesn't have to work so hard. Well, well, well. Looks like Trump's not just losing the Wall Street Journal, he's losing his grip on reality too. Remember when he used to brag about his very good brain? Let's see how that big, beautiful brain handles basic geography in recent history. Spoiler alert, it's a train wreck, folks. Our favorite orange turd just tried to rewrite history faster than he can down a bucket of KFC. Donnie Diapers, in his infinite wisdom, claimed that Ukraine started the war with Russia. Yeah, you heard that right. According to Trump's alternative facts universe, Ukraine woke up one day and thought, hey, let's invade ourselves. It's like blaming the punching bag for starting a boxing match. But wait, it gets better. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, probably wondering if he'd stepped into some bizarre parallel universe, had to come out and say that Trump was living in a disinformation space. That's diplomat speak for, what the heck is this guy smoking? I mean, when the president of a country at war has to take time out of his day to fact-check your nonsense, you know you've reached a new level of bonkers. And guess what? Even Trump's former bestie, John Bolton, is calling him out. You know, the guy with the mustache that looks like it could repel Russian tanks?
What are the Senate Republicans going to do about it? A couple have spoken out, but so far, very little. Repeating Russian propaganda. It's not exactly being a master negotiator if you're giving away the store to the bad guy here and then becoming one of the bad guys. It's got to be scary for anyone, the richest man in the world, who will go after any Republican who speaks out against Trump, who opposes Trump, with his unlimited funds to fund a primary opponent against them.
Yeah, that one. Bolton said Trump's comments about Zelensky were some of the most shameful remarks ever made by a U.S. president. Coming from a guy who worked in the Trump White House, that's like Gordon Ramsay calling your cooking a bit bland. Now let's talk numbers, because we all know how much Trump loves his ratings. Remember when he claimed Ukraine had a 4% popularity rating? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because we've got some math that'll make your MAGA hat spin. Turns out, Zelensky's approval rating is sitting pretty at around 57%. That's right, the guy leading a country through a war is more popular than the guy who thinks windmills cause cancer. And Trump's approval rating? Let's just say it's lower than Zelensky's. Much lower. It's so low, it makes the Mariana Trench look like a kiddie pool. It's almost as if people prefer a leader who's actually, leading, instead of one who's busy rewriting history from his gold-plated toilet. Well, folks, it looks like Trump's Ukraine comments are causing quite a stir, even among his former buddies. John Bolton, the guy who used to whisper sweet nothings about national security in Trump's ear, is now singing a different tune. He's calling Trump's remarks some of the most shameful ever made by a president. Ouch, that's gotta hurt more than a bad spray tan. But here's the kicker. Bolton's not just throwing shade for fun. He's worried that Trump's way of dealing with tough guys like Putin could be bad news for our country. It's like watching your grumpy uncle try to negotiate with the neighborhood bully. You know it's not gonna end well. So what's next in this political soap opera? Will Fox News start fact-checking Trump's tweets? Will his hairstylist finally reveal the secrets of that mystical comb-over? Stay tuned, folks, and keep your eyes peeled for flying pigs.